Hey y'all, I woke up like this. I'm lying. Bang be flip back, slob be everywhere. Anyways, today I'm going to touch up on 3 subjects. Okay, the first one is going to be, I took notes because I don't want to be rambling on and stuff. So this video is going to be a little bit longer than the other ones, but I promise you if you listen, it's going to be worth it. I'm going to try to rush through it as fast as possible and get straight to the point. Okay, so 3 subjects I'm going to touch up on is the first one is God causes hardships in your life in order to bless you. The second one is sometimes when you pray, you may feel like God is ignoring you or he's telling you no or you're not getting what you're praying for and you want to know why. I'm going to talk about all of this. The third one is how God will bless you in front of your enemies or the people that's talking down on you. Not only will he bless you, but he will bless you in front of them. He will make them see. So let's get started. Okay, so as you guys know, I work at Aldi's making $14 an hour and I have my own apartment. Now, that may come off as a little arrogant, but you guys will understand why I'm telling you this at the end of the story. Or whatever. Dang, stale. Look like I got a hat on. I'm tired of this bang. But anyway. So let's go. Anyway, so I work at Aldi's and I now have my own apartment, but it wasn't always like that. I moved down here with my boyfriend in hopes of, well, my ex-boyfriend now, in hopes of having a better life because I'm pretty sure that a lot of people in Chicago can relate that you feel like you're not progressing in Chicago. There's nothing here for you. You're ready to move on, but you just feel stuck. Like, that's how I felt. So I moved to Champaign. So I thought I was going to come to Champaign and I thought I was going to be like, yeah, I'm gonna get in school, have my own place, live happily ever after with my boyfriend. I'm gonna find me a good job, blah, blah, blah. It didn't work like that. When I came down here, everything went downhill. Everything went downhill from the first day we came down here. First things first, me and my ex-boyfriend's family, we never seen eye to eye. I don't want to talk down on them, but I don't want it to seem that way, but in a nutshell, they thought I wasn't good enough for him. As far as I wasn't in college, I wasn't making enough money, and I wasn't independent enough. So me being in love, I wanted his approval and their approval. So when I applied for school, when I came down here and I applied for school in nursing, just to please him and his family because his mom was a nurse, and it sounds weak-minded, but I mean, that's what it is. That's what I did. I can't change it, but whatever. I was applying for hospital jobs and I was getting interviews, but I wasn't getting a job. I was not getting a job at all. And the apartments I was applying for, they kept denying me. They would not approve me for the apartment that I wanted. It was called The Point, which is where I live now. And I even tried to get my CNA license or whatever, but I wasn't able to do that because they wasn't approving me for the program. So I kept praying, God, pray for this job. I had people pray for me. Nothing was coming through. Everything was nothing was going right. Everything was going downhill, including my relationship. We started arguing every day about any and everything. Everything I did irritated him. Everything he did irritated me. And sometimes it got physical. And it got to the point where I entered, it sounds dramatic, but like this deep depression. It really was a deep depression. I was crying all the time. I was stressed out. And it got to the point where it started to take a physical toll on me. I couldn't sleep. Every time I fell asleep, I tried to go to sleep. My heart felt like it was going to hop out of my chest, like it was going to jump out of my chest. It was beating so hard. I couldn't sleep. When I woke up in the morning, I didn't have an appetite. I felt sick. Felt like I had to throw up. And not only was it taking a physical toll on me, mentally, I was just drained because not only did I not feel good enough for my boyfriend and his family, I felt like a sellout. because anybody that knows me knows that I want to be an actress. So if you want to be an actress, Alex, why are you going to school for nursing? Sounds like a sellout to me. And so it then became a battle of, do I love him? Do he wants him do what him and his family wants me to do, or do I love myself and just follow my heart? And it was either love him or love myself. I couldn't do both. And let me tell you something, ladies. If you're ever in a relationship with a man and you feel like you have to choose between loving him or loving yourself, he's not the man for you, because the right man for you will not only love you, but he will teach you how to love yourself. But anyway, at this time of my life, so at this point, I felt like, okay, it's time for me to start chasing my relationship with God. I really need to get into my relationship with God, because I can't deal with this. You ever felt like something was missing? Have you guys ever felt like that? Like something was missing in your life, like something, and I knew it was God, and that's a void nobody can fill, or whatever the word is. But anyway, I started praying more, reading my Bible, going to church, and I started praying for God to take me out of the situation. Like, take me out of this house. I don't want to be here, but can you please take me out of it? Can you help me find a way out of this house without me moving back to Chicago? And I always was taught that God makes a way out of no way. And I'm like, if he can make a way out of no way, I don't see a way, but I know that he has a way. So I kept praying. And I remember this specific conversation I had with my stepmom. And she was like, Alexis, be careful what you ask for, because God will give it to you. And so I asked them to take me out of the situation. So anyway, at this point, this is later on down in the year, I had got the job at Old Navy, but I hated it. There was no hours, no money. I just wasn't happy. I didn't like the people that was working there, and there was a whole bunch of BS going on. So one day, someone told me to go online. I go online, and I see a job fair for Aldi's. And so at this point, it's like 5 going on 6 maybe. No, I think it was like 6. It was 6 something, because I remember asking my boyfriend I'm like, take me to Aldi so I can hurry up and fill out this application before they stop the interviews. And he took me up there, and I also applied for a job at Chili's as well. I got the job at Chili's first, and I was in training how to be a server. I remember this day like it was yesterday. It was September 2nd, and like I told y'all, my relationship was going downhill. One day, me and my boyfriend, we got into a really bad argument, and I decided I can't take it anymore. I can't be in this house. I can't even sleep. I can't even eat. This house is stressing me out. Living here, I can't be here. Like, I just can't. I left that night, packed up all my stuff with nowhere to go. Packed up all my stuff. I didn't tell my mom. I didn't tell my dad. I didn't tell nobody. I didn't even tell my sister, and I tell my sister everything. I didn't even tell her, because they told me not to move down there, but I didn't listen. And I didn't feel like I was at a point in my life. I didn't feel like hearing, I told you so, or I told you not to go down there, but I didn't want to hear that. I felt like I can make it on my own. That night, I slept outside. Yeah, so I was homeless. At that point, I was homeless. I took all my stuff to a laundromat and left it there while I went to school, hoping that nobody would steal my stuff. So for the next 2 days, I was homeless, sleeping outside. It was only a couple of days, but I promise you, it felt like years. Sleeping outside, it was horrible. I was cold. I had nowhere to go. I was hungry. I had no money. There was nothing. I had no options, I didn't see a way. I didn't see any options. Thank God that Chili's finally let me start serving, because the money I used from my tips, I used to check into a hotel. So now that was my home. I'm living in a hotel at this point. And I checked into this hotel. And anyway, I checked into this hotel. And thank God that Aldi's called me 2 days later and told me I got the job. And So at this point, I'm officially working 3 jobs and I'm still a full-time student. So I call my mom, I ask her, she doesn't know what's going on because I still haven't told her. She still thinks I'm living with my boyfriend. So I'm like, Mom, you think I could work 3 jobs? You think I can do that? And she was like, no. She's like, no, Alexis, I don't think you could do it. You're going to be too stressed out, writing essays, just, telling me what's best. But me being hard-headed, I didn't listen. So now that I'm working 3 jobs, I ran into another problem. How am I going to fit all of these into my schedule? So now I had to work Old Navy early in the morning and Chili's and Aldi's at night. And I didn't have enough money to always check into the hotel, because it then ran into a problem where I had to pay a cab every morning to take me to work to Old Navy, because buses didn't run that early at the time I had to work at Old Navy. So at this point, I had to decide, make a decision. Either it became either food I was going to eat. It was either eat, have a roof over my head, or get to work. And at this point, I really started to run out of money, just trying to get by. And so, I'm sorry, y'all. One day I was working at Old Navy, and one of my friends, Ashley, we met through Old Navy, so we weren't really friends outside of Old Navy. And one day on our lunch break, we went on break together, and I ended up telling her about the situation, because I had to tell somebody. I had to confide in somebody. And I told her, like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know where I'm going to stay. I'm just out of options, man. I'm sorry. I'm out of options. So she was like, you know what? You can come stay with me. Mind you, I didn't know this girl like this, but she was offering me her home. She was like, you can come stay with me. So she ended up coming with me to the hotel, and she helped me pack all my stuff in the cab. And we ended up going to her house, and I started living with her. Shortly after I started living with her, I got fired from Chili's. And I can understand why I got fired from Chili's, because when I was working there, I was kind of doing a bad job, just off the fact that when you are living in a hotel and your where you're going to sleep is based off how many tips you make that night. You're not thinking about refills. You're not thinking about, do you have enough guacamole for your nachos? Your mind is just everywhere. At least mine was. It was everywhere. I couldn't think straight. I was messing up orders. I was holding my tears in the best I could in front of the customers. But anyway, I got fired. And after I got fired, I'm just like, I'm thinking to myself, like, God, when will it end? When will it end? Like, what am I doing wrong? Like, am I a bad person? Or it was really rough for me. Anyway, so now at this point, I'm only working at Aldi's and Old Navy, and I'm still in school. So one day I'm looking online, looking for apartments. And I found an apartment on Craigslist for a sublease, and it was in the same apartments that Ashley lived in. So once I found the apartment, I replied to the ad. She called me, told me come look at the apartment. I looked at the apartment, and she was like, "Okay, I want you to sublease this apartment, but you still have to get approved through the actual office." So we went up there, and they were like, "Where do you work?" And I had to bring in proof of course, employment. And thank God I was working at Aldi's, because they said that because I was making $13 an hour is the only way that they approved me, because I had no credit. And so so now at this point, it's like a breath of fresh air because now I got two jobs. I'm a full-time student and I got my apartment. Now, I'm going to break this down for you guys. I know you guys only see the bad parts in this story, but I'm going to break it down in how I look back and see it and how God aligned everything in my life to happen right on time. So, starting with me being homeless, God knew, because He knows me, He knows all of us. God knew that if I was still living in that apartment with my ex-boyfriend, that I wasn't going to look for an apartment as hard as I would have if I was homeless. So He had to get me out of the house. He had to make it uncomfortable for me to leave. And that's exactly what I did. But before I left, He made sure I got the job at Chili's so that when I was homeless, I could pay for myself to check into a hotel with the tips, right? Then when I got into the hotel, He got me the job at Aldi's, right? So after I got the job at Aldi's and I started running out of money because I had to use the money for cabs to get to work, he of course introduced me to Ashley. And right after I moved in with Ashley, I lost a job at Chili's, and I felt like that was God saying, you don't need the job at Chili's anymore, because the only reason I gave you the job at Chili's was so I could make a way for you to have somewhere to stay. And so He introduced me to Ashley so I could have a place to stay. Now, the apartments where Ashley's staying, that's where the girl leased the apartment. God brought me there. That's where I ended up living. And it was right across the street from my job. It was convenient. And the apartment, I never would have got approved for the apartment had I never got the job at Aldi's. And mind you, I applied for the job at Aldi's in July. I didn't get the job until like September. So God works in mysterious ways, and let me get back on these subjects and let me show you how they apply to this story. For one, everything that I thought was a hardship, everything that I thought was a struggle, was really God aligning up everything in my life. He blessed me. He gave me a place to stay. He gave me jobs. And He put the right people in my life at the right time. And as far as when you're praying and you feel like God is not answering you, or He's telling you no, all those times that I was applying for jobs at the hospital, those hospital jobs only pay like $9-10 an hour. The apartment I was applying for was all the way in Urbana, far away from my job. I have to leave my house 2 hours early just to get to work on time. And that wasn't God saying no. That was God saying, no, I have something better for you. And I can just smile when I think about it, because it's crazy. But even still, now I work at Aldi. I make $14 an hour, and I'm living on my own without anybody's help, without anybody saying I'm not independent enough, I'm not making enough money, or anything like that. And as far as Him blessing me in front of my enemies, me and my ex-boyfriend, we converse now. And now I can say, yeah, I'm doing good. I may need a little help now and then, but I'm doing it on my own. So, and you thought I couldn't do it. You and your family thought I couldn't do it. I'm doing it on my own. And it just feels great. So I'm just here to tell y'all that whatever y'all going through right now, I'm sorry, but whatever y'all going through, don't ever feel like you're going through it alone. Don't ever feel like God is not with you, because God is carrying you every step of the way. And just stay in faith. Even when you're uncomfortable, even when you don't see a way, God makes a way. I got my job, I got my apartment without the help of my mom, my dad, anybody, but with God. By the grace of God, I have food to eat. I have a roof over my head. I have a good paying job. And another thing is, don't ever think he's ignoring you. He's not ignoring you. God's plan for you is better than anything you could ever think of. And I'm just going to leave with this. And I'm going to end my video with this. And I know I'm being a crybaby. But don't ever seek validation from man, anybody. Because it'll never last. People will always find something wrong with you. Find something about you that's not good enough. But God is the only one that'll love you unconditionally. Despite where you are in life, what you're doing. So, just whatever you're going through right now, it may seem like there's no way. It may seem like God's not listening. He's ignoring you, but he sees everything. And all he wants you to do is trust in him, stay in faith. God makes no mistakes. He's always on time, never late, never late. And I went from being homeless to having my own apartment. I hope you guys don't judge me. I mean, you're sleeping outside and like a bum, and it's really hard for me to tell this story, but for the sake of you guys to understand how God works, I told it, and I'm not ashamed. I'm not embarrassed, but I really hope it did something for you. And yeah, so that was my story. And man, just always remember and never forget, if don't nobody else got you, God got you. So, and he had me make this video for a specific person. I don't know who. I don't know why. But I hope it gets to you, and I hope you see this, and I'm just here to tell you everything is going to be okay. So, yeah. So, hope you guys enjoyed it. I know it was super long. I'm so sorry about that, but there was no way I could shorten it. And if you guys have any ideas on what my next topic should be or what you want me to talk about, feel free to comment. Please like, please share. You never know who needs to hear this. And have a good night. Bye.